We need to be super kind to ourselves at this time because it is a really challenging time for all of us in different ways.
The idea of self-compassion is
we all have different challenges facing us at the moment. Not being able to get as much work done as we usually do, not being able to homeschool as well as the other people on social media, not doing all the craft activities with our children that everyone else seems to be able to do. If you're getting up, getting through your house, managing to vacuum your floors and get dinner cooked, great. That's all you need to do. We just need to get through this crisis as best we can. And the best way to do that is by using self-compassion.
Self-compassion can be a really beautiful way of helping yourself to lower your stress, regulate your emotions, and engage that parasympathetic nervous system, so that rest and digest mode that we really need to make sure that we can fall into sometimes.
If you would not talk to your best friend in a certain way, then you should not be talking to yourself in that way. You wouldn't tell your best friend to suck it up and get on and get back to work and do their 8 hours and homeschool. You'd be saying, hey mate, take it easy on yourself.
At the moment, we might think things like, I'm not getting enough work done, I'm being really angry with the kids, I'm being an awful parent. So all of those self-critical things that we can say to ourselves. The first step is that we can really stop and pause and take note of how we're feeling and how we're going right now. So we do a little check-in with ourselves. You know, I might say something like, yeah, I'm feeling really irritable today, or I'm feeling really tired and run down, and I'm noticing that I'm being really hard on myself about that. Just by stopping and noticing and naming those feelings, we are being mindful, and this is known to help lower stress. And there's lots of evidence that shows that self-compassion is really great at lowering stress.
You also need to look to gratitude if you're finding that you're really overwhelmed. So coming back to what's working well. What are you really proud of? What are you thankful for every single day? And if you find those exercises difficult, you need to fake it till you make it. So that means sometimes you're going to have to force yourself to find 3 things that you're grateful for, write them down, read them before you go to bed, and then the next day find 3 more. And really force yourself to find different ones and really take yourself outside of the box. Kindness and compassion are the best way to keep anxiety and depression at bay and to keep your household calm.
The second thing that we might do is using that kind, compassionate voice towards ourselves. You might not say it out loud because you might look like a bit of a loon, but you can say it in your mind. So you might say something to yourself like, yeah, this is really hard right now. The world doesn't feel like a safe place for me, and I'm struggling to cope with what's going on. I'm struggling having the kids at home all the time, and my partner's out working, and this is really hard. And really kind of having that internal dialogue with yourself to validate what you're feeling and what you're thinking. Another important part of self-compassion is common humanity, and it's, you know, what's going on in the world at the moment is what we're all going through it. We may not be experiencing the same stress and the same difficulties, but we are all in this together and we aren't alone. And remembering that we are all going through this together and that there is that common humanity can help us to feel less disconnected and more connected with the world around us. And the last thing that you might do is you might take some really gentle, self-compassionate action. So you might put your work down and go outside for a walk with the kids. You might say to yourself, gosh, before bed tonight, I'm going to have that hot shower, I'm going to have that bath, and doing something really nice for yourself.
It's hard for all of us. We're all doing this tough. So just do what you can do. And that's what you need to say to yourself. If you find these videos helpful,
hit the subscribe button and we'll see you next time.